Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial we are going to be learning how to make this two-piece, a very simple and well-detailed tutorial which is also beginner friendly. If this looks like what you love to learn, continue watching. When you find it helpful, like and leave a comment. Also share with people that might likely find this helpful. So my online class registration is still ongoing. If you're interested in learning how to make these three type of corsets, every detail that you need will be in the comment section. So let's get into it. For material, I work with chinos. This is roughly 2 yards of chinos. So that is the material that I'm going to be working with. For pattern drafting, you are going to fold your pattern paper into two equal half, just as you can see. After doing that, go ahead and then mark at your starting line. All right, and then at your starting line is going to be your waistline. Then from that point, you're going to come down by 9 inches, which is waist to hip line. All right, after doing that, go ahead, create your hip line, label it out as you can see me do. Then from your waistline, come down by your waist to knee length. Mine is 24 inches, so I'm going to mark 24 inches, then create my knee line and then label it out as well. So for my full length, I'm going to come down by 3 inches from my knee line. So this is going to be my full length. That is my full skirt length. All right, and I came down by 3 inches from my knee line. So on my waistline, I'm going to go in by my waist circumference divided by 4, which is 7, because I'm working with 27 inches, then plus 1.5 inch, which is my dart intake replacement. Then on my hip line, I'll go in by my hip circumference divided by 4, which is 10, because I'm working with 40 inches. I'm going to connect like so, then come over to my hip line. Whatever I mark on my hip line, I'm going to take off 1 inch. So I'm marking 9 inches on my knee line. Then I'll slant it to the full length. So after doing that, I'll go in by my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2, come down by 5 inches, then create my dart line. Then for the 1.5 inch allowance I added, I'm just going to fold the 1.5 into 2, and then I'll go add by whatever I have on both sides. That is 0.75. all right, so I'm going to create my dart like so. So from my waistline, I'm going to come down by 1/2 inch. All right, and then I'll connect it to the side like so. Then I'm going to come down by 1.5 inch. So this is going to be my band. All right, so I'm taking off my band of 1.5 inch. So this is going to be the front pattern. So since we are using the same pattern as the front and back, from the waistline, I'm going to come down by 1.5 inch. So that is going to be for the back band intake. All right, so I'm just doing 1.5 inch. So when you're done, for the back that you are going to extend it by 1 inch. Remember it was 5 inch for the front. So for the back, make it 6 inches length. All right, that is what I just did. So what we are going to do is go ahead and then add your allowance. So I'm adding 1 inch. Remember, allowance or side seam is your choice. You can go ahead and add whatever you wish to, but I'm adding just 1 inch, as you can see. So when you're done, go ahead and then cut out. When you are done cutting out, take your tracing wheel and then trace out every line you have here on the other side. Remember, it's on fold. Then we are going to go ahead and then cut out on our fabric. So I'll go ahead and cut out, and then I'm starting with the back part. All right, so cut out and then transfer your darts to the fabric. Remember, this is the back, and then I'm cutting it on fold. That is because we are not going to have zipper actually. So cut the back on fold. This is it for the back piece. So I'm going to set it aside, and then I'm going to bring in my pattern. So the whole lines, remember I already used my tracing wheel. So first thing I'm going to do is to cut off the back parts. Remember the back parts, we just came down by 1.5 inch, and then this is it. This is what we have for the front piece. So what I'm going to do now is to extend my lines to this side of it, and then my allowance, because if you don't take off your allowance that you added for joining, it's going to affect whatever you are going to do. All right, so what I'm going to do now, from this dart leg, I'm just going to take it down. So I later changed this to 5 inch though, because I really need to sew off the dart so that it will kind of give me a good shape there. So from the middle line, that is on the midpoint, you can actually see it very obvious on my pattern. All right, so I went out by 5 inches to get my design. So I ignored this. So from the middle point, just go out by 5 inch. So I'll go ahead and then cut this out. I really want to sew the dart so that it will give me the fitting that I want. So this is it for one side of the front. I'm going to add extra 3 inches. So this is going to be for the button. It's going to be for the button stand. If you watch it at the beginning of the video, you notice that I actually have button at the side. All right, so this is going to be my button stand. Then I'm using 3 inches because I'm going to fold. So I'll go ahead and cut out, and then I'll do the same thing to the other piece of it. I'll also cut out and then add 3 inches. This is it for both pieces. What we are going to do now is to go over to your machine, and then you are going to sew off the dart on the front and the back piece. So I'll go ahead and do that. So this is it. I already sewed off my dart on the front and the back. So what we are going to do now, I'm going to cut out about 2.5 inch paper stay, and then I'm going to add it to the 3 inches button stand that we added. So go over to your machine and then hold it in place. All right, so this is it. I already done that, and then I am going to set it aside. All right, bring in a pattern paper. What you're going to do, just create a line at the middle and then the bottom line, and then you're going to go up by, I'm working with 6 inches. Remember, this is optional, so you can actually do 5, you can do 4. So this is what I have here, and then the next thing I'm going to do, from that middle line, I'm going out by 2.5 inch on both sides. All right, I'm just going to create a line, and then what I'm going to do at the side, I'm going to, for now I'm marking 1.5 inch, but when I saw that the curve wasn't really enough, I decided to use 1.5 inch. All right, so you can see it, the curve isn't enough, so I went up by 1.5 inches there, then I connected back. So this is actually way more better. So what I'm going to do now is to add allowance round and then cut out. Go ahead and trace everything out, as you can see me do in another pattern paper. When you are done cutting out, go ahead and then iron, just the way you can see me do. You can see that I'm folding in the whole allowances. That's the 1/2 inch allowance I added, so that's exactly what I'm folding in. So go ahead and do the same thing as well. What you're going to do, bring in the back piece, so make sure you mark down about 3 inches from your waistline and then go ahead and then fix it. All right, make sure you sew off the 1/2 inch at the top first before you go ahead and then stitch around. So I'll do just that, and then this is it after doing that. So I'm going to bring in the rest of the piece. This is the front, so I'm going to place it right side facing the right side and then pin down. So I'm going to go ahead and then join by the allowance I added. So this is it after doing that. All right, so what we are going to do now is you're going to measure your waistline and then cut out a band for it. Remember, we are working with a band of 1.5 inch. So that is exactly what I'm going to cut out. So this is it. I already cut out 3 inches. This band, actually I folded it on bias to cut, so I lost that video. Make sure you place your band on bias. You are cutting the band on bias, sorry. So what I'm going to do now is to go ahead and then fix this. I'm going to pin it round. This is actually 4 inches. I fold in 1/2 inch on both sides, so that when I fold into 2, I will be left with 1.5 inch. So I'm just going to pin it round. When you're done, join by 1/2 inch, and then when you come over here at the end there, just go ahead, fold into 2. All right, fold like so and then join. Just fold and then sew, then before you top stitch. I don't know if this is clear enough, so just put it together like so and then stitch. Then when you turn it out to the right side, also top stitch it as well. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll bring it back. This is it after adding my band. All right, so what I'm going to do now is to go ahead and then add my button. So I'm using normal jean button, then before hemming it down. This is it. I already added my button, as you can see. So I'll go ahead and hem it down. So let's go over and then draft the upper piece. So for the upper piece, I'm going to mark out my starting line by coming down by 2 inches. So I had to make it 2-in-1 video after the skirt before the upper piece video, because I actually wanted to make it in 2 parts, but there's no need. So for the center back, come in by at least 1.5 inch. So my chest line is 8 inches, but I'm going to mark down 9 inches, because this is actually like a shirt like top, so you don't need to make it very tight. So add extra 1 inch to whatever you use as your initial chest line. So mine is 8, but as you can see, I marked down 9 inches. All right, so what I'm going to do next is to come down by my bust point of 10 inches. So from my shoulder line, I'm coming down by 10 inches. This is my bust point, and then the next step is to mark my half length, which is 16 inches. That is my front half length. All right, so I'm going to label everything out. Then from my half length, I'm going to come down by 9 inch. This is my waist to hip length. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing with the back. Come down by my back half length of 14.5 inch. All right, I'm going to create my back half length, and then I'm going to come down by 9 inches as well, just like I did at the front. For the front neckline, I'll go in by 3 inches as my neck width, and then the depth I'll do 3 inches as well. Then I'll go ahead to create my neckline like so. Then I'll go in by my shoulder measurement, divide by 2, mark it, and then mark it on my chest line as well. Connect it together. Then for my shoulder slant, I'm going to use 1.5 inch, and then I'll connect. Then whatever I have left, I'll find the midpoint by folding into 2 like so. I will mark and then go in by 1/2 inch. Then I'm going to connect to my shoulder slant. On my chest slant, I'm going to go in by my round bust circumference, divide by 4. I'll mark and then go out by 1/2 inch. This is going to be for ease. Then on my waistline, I'll go in by my nipple to nipple measurement, divide by 2, and then mark it on my bust point and my hip line as well. Then go ahead to create my dart line like so. Then on my waistline, I'll go out by half inch on both sides. This is going to be for my dart intake, and then I'll connect as well. On my waistline, I'm going to add my waist circumference divide by 4, add 1/2 inch for ease, and then 1 inch as my dart replacement. Then I'll connect to my chest line. Then on my hip line, I'll mark my hip circumference divide by 4 as well. Then I'm going to connect like so to my waistline. Then for my full length, I'm going to come down by 4 inches from my waistline. So this is going to be my full length. Is going to be a short crop top. If you want to make yours longer, you can make it longer. All right, so at the side, I'm going to come down by 1.5 inch from. Then I'll find the midpoint of my shoulder by folding into 2 like so, and then mark whatever I have. I'll connect to my bust point. So this is going to be the side front, while this is going to be the center front. So for my neck depth, I'm going to do 7 inches and then connect it. So this is what I have. I'll go ahead and then add my allowance. So the back neck width, I'm going to mark 3.5 inch, then the depth 1 inch. Then I'm going to connect to create my neckline like so. Then my shoulder measurement, I'm going to mark 7 inches and then 7 on my chest line as well. Then connect, then go down by 1.5 inch as my shoulder slants, connect, then find the midpoint by folding into 2 as well. I'm going to mark and then go in by 1/2 inch. Connect back to my shoulder slant, then go in by my round bust circumference divide by 4, add 1/2 inch as my ease, and then connect. So on my waistline, I'm going to go in by my nipple to nipple divide by 2, mark it on my chest line, my waistline, then on my hip line, then create my dart line, then 1/2 inch on both sides as my dart intake. Then I'm going to connect. And find the midpoint of your shoulder as well by folding into 2. Then whatever you have, connect it back to your chest line like so. Then go in by your round waist circumference divide by 4, add 1/2 inch ease, and then replace your dart intake. Then my hip circumference divide by 4, I'll connect the whole points together as you can see me do. Then mark my full length of 4 inches from my waistline like so. So after doing that, from my waistline, I'll go in by 1/2 inch. And then I'll connect to the top and then to the down, then replace it at the side. Then I'll go ahead and add my allowance round and cut out. So this is it for both front and back piece. What I'm going to do now is to cut out. So I already cut out. This is the center front. I added 1/2 inch on both sides, and then this is the side fronts. All right, this is the back piece. For the center back is on fold, so I'll remove my pattern, and then I'm going to place it right side facing the right side, and then pin down. When you are done, join by 1/2 inch. So this is it after joining by 1/2 inch. So what I'm going to do now is to mark out my allowance. I'm just going to mark out my allowance and then measure the strap I'm going to have at the front. So that is why I'm marking out my allowance, so that we'll know the length to cut out. So this is what I have here. Anywhere you want yours to stop. So I'll be working with 14 inches. It's just a normal strap, and I'm marking 14 inches. All right, and then the length is going to be 6 inches. So go ahead and then cut out. So after cutting out, all you need to do is to join around and then turn it on one side. So this is it. Bring in your front piece, place it at the side. All right, make sure you leave out a few inches at the down, because we are here to hem it. So when you're done, what you are going to do is to bring in the back piece. So just join it at the side by 1 inch, and then on your shoulder by 1/2 inch. So I will do just that, then I'll bring it back. So this is it after joining. So what we are going to do is to take the measurement of your neckline, bring in a pattern paper, then fold it into 2, and then what you're going to do is you're going to fold whatever you measured into 2, because the pattern paper is already on fold, and then mark, all right, the length of your collar. So when you're done, go up by 1.25 inch, as you can see me do. This is going to be the width of the collar stand. Then from that point, you're going to go in by 1/2 inch, and then curved in to the finish line, then go in by 1 inch, as you can see me do. Then for the length, I'm using 2.5 inch, and then at this point I'm going to mark 1.25. then I will connect like so, and then I'm going to go out by 1/2 inch, and then I will connect it like so, and then I'm going to connect back to the 1.25 here. So this is what I have. I will just go ahead and cut this out. Go ahead and then cut out, and then add your allowance. All right, so I added allowance to both round. So what you're going to do is to join by 1/2 inch round, and then bring in the front piece. So what you are going to do, you are going to add button stand. So this button stand is going to start where, or above where your collar is going to stop. All right, so wherever you measured for your collar, make sure that this button stand is above it a little, then go ahead and join. When sewing the button stand, make sure you go in by at least 1 inch. All right, so bring in the collar stand, and then all you are going to do is to join it by 1/2 inch, then fix on your shirt. So I actually lost the video of where I fix, because I'm currently struggling with space on my phone. So I'm going to drop link on how to fix collar on the description box. Just add your button, and then that's all. Thank you so much for watching.